Hi, and welcome to my channel. In this series, I tell you everything you need to know about moving to Geneva. In my previous video, I talked about the cost of living in Geneva for an average month. You can find the link here. But before your life normalizes in Geneva, first you have to settle. This video talks about the cost of settling in Geneva, all the costs that you will incur in the first few months. If you're interested, keep watching. I decided to record this one because your reaction to the video about the average cost of living in Geneva for a month was overwhelmingly positive, so I thought this is something you really need as a next step. So let's get right into it. As you can see, this is the same spreadsheet we used in the previous video. Once again, if you haven't seen it, it's going to be linked up here. So let's start with the apartment. Of course, even though the rental per month is the same, there will be expenses in the first 3 months that you have to take into consideration. First of all, you will have a guarantee for the apartment. So that's going to be 3 times this. So this puts already the first month's rent at $10,000. There are 2 things that can help you. First of all, maybe if you work in the financial industry in a bank, it is possible that they will be your guarantor. You have to ask your HR department about that, but this is generally possible, especially if you have a fixed term contract. Secondly, there are companies who provide the service of giving the deposit for you. What these companies do is for a couple of $100 per year, they're going to put the guarantee deposit for you. Of course, if you're moving out and there is damage to the apartment, there's something you have to pay back to the agency or to the owner, you will have to cover that. But at least for a fee of a couple of $100 per year, you don't have to freeze 5, 6, 7, up to 10,000 francs. An account that actually doesn't also even have interest. 2 such companies I'm linking right here for you, and the link is gonna of course be also in the description of the video. So we talked about the cost of getting in the apartment and putting the guarantee. That's just really a small part of having somewhere to live. One of the next videos that I will make will be one about searching for an apartment in Geneva. It's really a big topic and a lot of people get pretty desperate while looking, but don't get discouraged. When I do make this video, it will be linked right here. What you have to know for now about getting an apartment in Geneva is that very often the standard is it will not come equipped at all. Usually the fridge is not included, the stove and oven are not included. You will have to equip your kitchen. This is a considerable cost. I will not even try to put the amounts here because how much you pay for an electric stove or a fridge really varies on your needs. You can get a hotel size fridge, or maybe you need those 2-door American fridges the size of a Humvee. I don't know, so I'm not even gonna go into the prices on this, but I will give you some tips on where you can buy cheap equipment, stuff like fridges, stoves, ovens, but also TVs and all the kind of electronics that you will need. So this was one tip that was given to me when I just arrived. It's toppreis.ch. I will link it below. You can find and compare prices of all kinds of electronics, from computers and TVs, but also all kinds of appliances for the home. Super useful in the very beginning. And then you have all the usual electronic stores like Fust, Fnac, Manor, Interdiscount, MediaMarkt. I will link all of those below. These will come very handy for you when you'll be looking to put furniture and appliances in your house. There's also Anibis, which is a second-hand marketplace for used stuff in Switzerland. You can also find some nice stuff there, of course also on Facebook, but this is quite obvious, so I'm not even mentioning that. Lastly, you'll need some furniture. Here once again, because your expectations might vary greatly, I'm not even gonna attempt to put a price tag on how much you'll need to spend. I will though, in the description below, leave some links to places where you can get furniture. Of course there's Ikea, bear in mind it's gonna be quite more expensive than in many countries. And there's also Pfister and a couple of other places where you can get nice furniture. I'll link it below. So you have the apartment, you have the appliances, you have the electronics, you have the furniture. One thing, before you will actually move in, you will have to have house insurance. So let me put this here very quickly. And this, depending on your coverage, will be something like 100 to 300 francs. So I'll put it right here. With this, you should be ready to go with your apartment. And there we have you set with the apartment, with the furniture, with the appliances, and the necessary insurance for the apartment. Let's move to the next point. Let's move to the second point, and that's health insurance. The trick with health insurance, and I'll make a next video about getting health insurance in Switzerland, I'll link it here once it's ready, is that you have actually the first 3 months to get your health insurance. So let's say your permit starts on the 1st of January, you actually have until the end of March to get insurance. but don't get me wrong, you will have to pay for the months that you should have had insurance, so you'll be paying back. So let's say if you get it in April, you will have to pay for the 3 months back and for the upcoming month. So actually, I always encourage to pay insurance as soon as possible. So if you pay it in the very first month, you won't have to pay anything extra, and this 300, roughly 300 that I put here will be applicable also to insurance. For mobile phone, you usually have an activation fee if it's an abonnement, so we can put extra 50 here for this. Internet will usually also have installation costs, roughly 80 to 150, so let's put 80 to 150 here. Gym will also usually have a startup cost, usually 50 to 70, so I'll put it here as well. So there you go, somewhere between 6.7 and 11,500, excluding the appliances and the furniture. This really depends on your needs, and this really sets you with everything that you will need to start. Please bear in mind this is highly subjective. It really depends on all the kind of stuff that you will require in the very beginning, but this is a rough estimation and it should give you a good idea of what you'll need in the beginning in Geneva. If you like this video, please subscribe so we can stay in touch. If you have any questions whatsoever, please leave a comment. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.